Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience tuning in at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all can be with us. Also, tuning in to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast, we're glad you all could be with us as well. This is part of our News You Can Use segment here at WYAD, and today we're talking about surviving a stroke. In the U.S., about 800,000 people suffer from a stroke each year. In fact, strokes are a leading cause of death in this country and a major cause of serious disability. However, even though it is possible to lose everything to a stroke, taking quick action at the first sign can help with recovery and have a lasting impact. Joining us for this segment, we're excited to welcome Meghan McKee to our broadcast. She was 31 when she survived a stroke. We're going to talk to her not only about her own experience, also we have Dr. Sheryl Martin-Schild joining us as well. She's going to talk to us about some of the signs that you need to be aware of, and we can go for more information as well. Thanks to the two of you for the time. Really do appreciate you stopping by today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Dr. Martin-Schild, I'm going to start with you, if you don't mind, because when people hear about a stroke, I think, one of the things that we don't always realize is what we need to do. So what are the signs of a stroke, and why is it so important that we act quickly?
Great. The acronym BFAST is an easy way to remember and identify the signs and symptoms of a stroke. A sudden problem with any of the following may represent stroke. BFAST stands for balance, so a sudden problem with loss of balance. E is for eyesight, anything that suddenly affects your vision. The F is for face, something that makes one side of the face asymmetric or uneven compared to the other. The A stands for arm or appendage, any limb weakness, numbness, or clumsiness that develops suddenly. And then S is for speech, anything that affects a person's ability to communicate effectively. That leads us to the T of BFAST, and that stands for time. It is time to call 911 right away. A stroke occurs when part of the brain is deprived of blood supply, and without oxygen, brain cells die quickly. If you don't call 911, it can have a lasting impact. And on the reverse side of that, calling 911 gives you the best chance of recovering from your stroke.
Well, I appreciate that information, Dr. Martin-Schild. And Meghan, I appreciate you being with us to share your own experience of surviving a stroke. So you were 31 years old, as I mentioned in my introduction, when you had a stroke. Talk to us, if you don't mind, about your experience and why it was so surprising for you.
Sure, yes. It was 2015, and I was 31. It was a typical Saturday for me. I woke up, I went to an exercise class, went for a walk with my husband. We came back to watch a movie. And I remember I tried to grab a glass of water off the table, and my left hand just slapped the table. I couldn't grab it. I couldn't use my hand. And then I tried to stand up, and I couldn't move my left leg. I couldn't walk. And then I looked over at my husband, and he noticed that the left side of my face was drooping down, and my speech was slurred. So he immediately called 911 to get me attention, medical attention, and I was taken to the emergency room where I was received by a wonderful stroke team, and they gave me quick action and quick treatment.
You mentioned, Meghan, that this was 2015. So how has your stroke recovery been, and how are you doing today?
Sure. I'm extremely lucky, and I'm only lucky really because of the quick action. So recognizing those signs and symptoms, my husband recognized them immediately, and he called 911, and I lived very close. I was only 10 minutes from a stroke center, thank goodness. Within 24 hours, I was up and walking around with holding, someone's hand. I've had to do a lot of physical therapy and some, strengthening. I do still have some residual weakness in my left hand and my left foot and ankle, but it's nothing of what it would have been if we hadn't acted quickly and gotten me treatment. But now I'm living a full life. I still work. I'm a physical therapist. I have two daughters. They're twins. They're 3.5 right now. And I owe it all to the quick action of my husband.
Well, Meghan, thank you so much for sharing your story, and I'm so glad that you're doing well and are able, of course, to be able to encourage others. Dr. Martin-Schild, I want to ask you, when we think about the stats with those who do have strokes each year, what are some of the risk factors for having a stroke, and is there any way you can prevent one from happening?
Absolutely. There are risk factors you can't do anything about, like your family history, your gender, age, ethnic background, but most of the other risk factors can be modified to lower your risk. The most common are going to be high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, smoking, atrial fibrillation, which is a heart rhythm problem, and then lack of physical activity and obesity. These each contribute to your risk, and many don't have symptoms until they start damaging some of your organs. It's really important to work with a healthcare provider to recognize which risk factors you have and then do everything you can to modify them and lower the chance of having a stroke. And then, if you're unfortunate and experience a stroke, being able to recognize and respond to it by calling 911 is the most important action to take.
Dr. Martin-Schild, I think one of the things that people may be surprised about is Meghan shared she was 31 at the time. Of course, we know of individuals even younger than that, of course, that suffer from strokes. Why is it important for young people to understand the risk and recognize the signs as well?
It's really important because one out of every 5 adults who have a stroke are actually under the age of 55. And we all think about stroke happening to persons of advanced age. And that may make young people vulnerable to presuming that the mechanism or the cause of their symptoms is something other than stroke and not doing what they know that they should do at first recognition of stroke, and that's dialing 911. A young person may deprive themselves of the opportunity to recover better by delaying access to treatment, like I said, presuming that it couldn't possibly be a stroke when it can.
Such great information. I'm so glad the two of you are here to be able to talk to us about it. Again, everyone, Dr. Sheryl Martin-Schild has been our guest. She's been talking with us about the importance of be fast and the things to be able to look out for. And here sharing her story today, we have Meghan McKee as well, talking with us about her own experience of being a stroke survivor. So, Dr. Martin-Schild, if our audience wants to get more information, where can they go to learn more?
Please visit www.strokeawareness.com. There's a wealth of information there. Empower yourself.
All right, and we'll make sure that we link that up for our audience. Thanks again to the two of you about the great work you're doing and spreading awareness, and looking forward to speaking with you again.
Appreciate the opportunity you provided.
Hey,
Thank you so
glad
much.
to do it. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live, part of a News You Can Use segment here at WYAD. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.